In this video, we're going to overview briefly the inductive Bible study workflow. Therefore, go to the main menu and click Guides. In the search box at the top, click in it and type in the word inductive. Then scroll down and locate the menu Workflows and click Inductive Bible Study. Next, click in the Bible reference box and type in John 3:16. Then from the drop-down menu, click John 3:16 with the red banner icon. Now, inductive Bible study takes the approach of 3 steps. First is the observation stage. That's where you're going to read the text and write down what you observe. The second step is interpretation. Now we're moving into interpretation where we're looking at word studies and trying to understand the meaning of the text. Once you understand what the text means, then we move to the third stage, which is application. Now, one of the significant missing elements in the inductive Bible study is that there is no highlighting tool embedded in this workflow. So if you like to highlight during your observation stage, I recommend going to the main menu, click Tools, and then type in the word Highlight. Then from the Content menu, click Highlighting. Now there's one important step if you want to do this. When you create a workflow, as we've mentioned before, Logos creates a note file labeled Inductive Bible Study. If you intend to highlight, I recommend creating a duplicate palette and then associate that palette with your inductive notes. So let me demonstrate. We're going to click the triangle and we're going to click Duplicate. You'll notice that I've duplicated this before and it has a number 3 in parentheses. Let's click on that drop-down triangle and click Rename. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to relabel this highlight to be Inductive Bible Study. I'm going to put John 3:16 in there. This way, I know that this particular palette is going to be associated with John 3:16. Now, we have to do one more step. We have to associate these highlights with our Inductive Bible Study note file for our workflow. So let's click the drop-down triangle again, click on Active Notebook, then type in Inductive. You'll see that we have Inductive Bible Study with a pipe icon, vertical line, John 3:16. Let's select that. Once it's selected, you can click off the menu and then click the white triangle to close the menu. So now any highlighting we do will be added to our note. Let's open up that note so we can see this. So let's go to Tools. Let's type in Notes in the search box at the top and click Notes. Now let's locate the Inductive Bible Study John 3:16 note file. To do that, we're going to click the hamburger menu. Next, click the notebook icon, and our screen is a little bit small, so I'm going to maximize it a little bit so we can see the details a little bit better. There we go. Now that we've clicked on the notebook icon, let's click Search, and let's find our notebook, Inductive Bible Study. And there it is, John 3:16. Let's click it, and now we are looking at the note. Now let's spread these windows out so we can see a little bit of everything, okay? And I'm going to click the double arrow pointing at a diagonal so that we can just see our note only. All right, so here we are. We're observing our text, and let's just expand the first one. Read the passage multiple times. We click that. We can see our passage there. We can read it, and you can see my note test, and you can see over at the right the word test. So that's to show you that we are in the correct note. Now, if we were to highlight with our highlighting toolbar, we need to have our Bible opened. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on More. My Bible is now open to John 3:16, and I'm just going to highlight God in the passage. So I'm going to click on God, and then I'm going to go over to my highlighting toolbar and click on God, and there it is. Now let's return to our notes. We don't see it right here because we're looking at a specific note. So let's back out a little bit so we can see the variety of our notes. And once you click that double arrow at the top right, we now can see our 3-column view. And sure enough, there is our note file with the symbol we used, and there's the information God that we had highlighted. So be aware that you can use the workflow and the highlighting toolbar together, but you need to make those changes. Let's close down our note file and close down our Bible and make some more room for our workflow. And let's just review some of the key things in this step. So your observation step is pretty much read, establish the boundaries of the passage, identify key people, and important words. Now in step 2, we're going to look at interpretation. This is where you're going to do actual studying. So here we have examined the context of the book, evaluate the type of literature. Logos will provide you the literary typing link. We'll examine the cultural context. There are some additional insights there. Historical context will give you links to the timeline. Identify biblical cross-references. Here's a great help to find some wonderful cross-references that may shed further insight into this passage. We can also research important words. Now, Logos is going to generate a list of keywords from the passage by which then you can study. And remember, with the important words feature, just click that little triangle next to it. We'll see our passage, and then if we click lemma in passage, it will now search in commentaries where this passage is cited. And notice they're coming from our John commentaries, and now we can get some additional insights from people who have written on John 3:16 in that particular word. We can also read the passage in multiple versions. We can also evaluate discussions of important words in commentaries. Notice this is pretty much a duplicate step. If we expand lemmas in John 3:16, we can see, though, that we have additional words that we didn't see before. But if we expand this, it functions pretty much the same way. The nice advantage here is the commentaries are tucked in and we can be taken right to the context without leaving our workflow. That's pretty handy. We can also examine commentary discussions. So this is going to generate a list of commentaries and take you specifically to John 3:16. Summarize your passage is a chance for you to write down in notes what you've learned so far. The last stage, application, this is where we're going to determine how to apply it. One of the wonderful steps in here is determine the passage's theological principles. Now, the key behind a theological principle is to see the transcendent truth that can be drawn from this text that would apply for us in our current day. And Logos gives you some help in guiding you with some thematic outlines. The thematic outlines, as you know, will lead you to additional thoughts and passages related to this passage. So not everything is going to be applicable, but it will stir up your mind and help you in the brainstorming process for seeking for application. Then we need to establish the primary application of the passage. There are some key questions asked for you to consider. And then the third and final is share your insights with others. As we've demonstrated, this is a great way to share some of your thoughts through Faith Life, Facebook, Twitter, and email. So in conclusion, the inductive Bible study, like all workflows, is a great way to get started to learn how to do inductive Bible study. Eventually, you're going to expand this and do more through your own custom layouts and guides. Let's go ahead and click Close All to close all these windows.